Oh,
I don't like to be. I'm not going to sit here and say I've not done it and that I can't do it and that I won't do it because your girl will go get the bag.
yeah.
But my preference and why I got into it really was to create spaces.
Oh.
Really. Spaces that I wasn't seeing in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I just realized like,
is there anything better than a trip getting ready? Nope. For a long journey where our podcast released a new epi, searching for a fade fiend, new fixation. Giving this a subscribe is the same sensation. Started with the day ones, they gave us fuel to support the season. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here for a reason. Notification bells, text some friends, all to let you know. Check your Bluetooth, connect, talk your wisdom out.
Welcome in, everyone. Episode 56, Double Up, with our guest, Lauren Light. Lauren, we're going to jump right into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Called it Double Up because there's the double L there. Is this the stage name?
Lauren Light?
Yeah.
Yes. So Lauren is my name.
Yeah.
But I have a different last name, yeah.
Okay. All right. Nothing wrong with that. I like it. Is there a story behind the light, though?
Yeah, there is kind of. So my baby sister, I'm the oldest of three, and my baby sister used it first. I'm not even going to hold you. Her name is Andy, and so she tagged it on like Andy Light, like delight.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really dope. So when I applied that to mine, it's, Lauren Light, and enlightenment is a big. And at the time when I did this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. And I really do just like appreciate the like embodiment of light in people, So I was like, nah, this is it. It's been great. I'm glad I made that choice.
I'm going to a dark light though. I'm going to a dark light for a quick second though.
Yeah.
Is where you go, but was your sister there? Or she's like, girl, you biting. Like, was she okay with you taking it?
Yeah, she was, because I will tell you, she said delight, like she's leads praise and worship at church. She was happy for me to take
those
it.
People are always lit up. Like every Sunday. I don't know if they have bad weeks. I don't know what they sipping on, what kind of energy drink they get before they come in. But in all the churches I've been in, yeah.
I mean, it's the spirit in theory,
I'm trying to send me to church. I got stuff to do.
Nah, I'm not.
Felt like for a second there, you about to preach. Telling me
nah.
Or
I said she does.
I feel defensive.
Right, no kidding.
That could be the part. All right, so Double L, hope you don't mind. Lauren.
No, that's cool.
Where are you from? I know that's a loaded question. It could be pretty general, but like, where did you grow up or where do you associate?
Yeah. I mean, where I'm from and where I grew up are the same for me. I'm from El Paso, born and raised.
No.
Way out west.
Isn't that like called the City of Light or something?
The Sun City.
There it is. Okay, so this is all matching up.
It's very
thematic. I go out to El Paso all the time. Shout out. I'm in a motorcycle club. We got a chapter out there.
Yeah. Okay.
We cut you off when we was like ripping through them streets. And then in that case, I don't want to say nothing else. Reckless abandon.
No, it's good. We with it. I feel like people in El Paso are pretty cool, Like I liked growing up there. Generally speaking, I am mixed, I will say, and it's still a very homogenous place, right? It was still very Mexican and Hispanic. So there were some identity things that I had to work through. But growing up there was great. That's where I'm from.
We're going back to where you from, girl. Hold on. El Paso, Lauren. When people came to visit you, are you sure they coming to see you, or they trying to get right across that border to Juarez?
Well, I will add that. Yeah, and I will add that people wasn't coming to visit. Like you're not really going to El Paso.
This is true.
Unless you're on the way, typically, to California.
Yo, El Paso only. Don't believe her.
Nah, I love it.
Lauren. Honestly, I used to go see them a lot, I think I probably only went there once intentionally to see them and like fly back out.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm always they on the way. I'm on I-10. I'm heading to LA.
Yeah, you're like,
Los
hey,
Angeles is where I wanted to end up. I made the time, like I put it in the schedule though that I could like.
No, it counts.
And hang out for a day. And
it counts. Yeah, I feel like that counts. Yeah, I feel like that
also
counts.
Because they don't get that. Like y'all don't get. You just said it. Nobody comes to visit you because not really. Many Americans.
It's just. I think it's just so far out. Texas is huge, right? It's easy to go from Austin to San Antonio to Houston to Dallas, right? It's like 3-4 hours. It's not that bad, right? Even if you want to go down to the coast from here. Yeah. But to get to El Paso from here, you're committing to a 9-hour drive.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like there's no real need. I will say over there between Mexico and, the United States, obviously it's a huge port of entry. There's a lot of movement north and south for sure. But yeah.
For those who are just on audio, El Paso homies, I want y'all to know when she said 9 hours, I was like, let's get it. Let's get it. That's what my face looked like. But if y'all are seeing on YouTube, I'm sorry. I just want to apologize because I was like, woo.
Yeah.
So Lauren, El Paso, I want to get to some. I like stereotypes because sometimes some stereotypes are true and funny. You guys are only famous because of Tim Hardaway and the UTEP two-step. I might be dating myself here, but do you get that reference?
I anticipate you're talking about the national championship that they won out there.
No, she all young, listeners. She all young. She like 19. For those who are just listening, she looked like prom was like 3 weeks ago.
I'm about to be 35.
Out the semester at home. That's what I think is going on here. I didn't ask her age though. That's what I'm thinking. But okay, I got it. Your little fake ID says 35. Yes, we'll go with that. I don't want to mess up nothing that you got going. Yes, I agree with you. You're so 35. But okay, so he was an NBA player. He had this wicked crossover, and of all places, he went out to UT El Paso. So that put on the map. Okay,
I'm familiar with Tim Hardaway, but for some reason, I didn't know that he went to UTEP.
Yep, and that's why they called it the UTEP two-step. Like he was.
That's very cool, actually.
He was major. Like he was the guy.
You taught me something about my city. That's dope.
Oh! How about this? I wanna cause some drama because you just said that it's real easy for you. Oh, listeners, I told her this was not gonna be an expose. I wasn't gonna try to get you. I'm about to get her. I lied. All right, you said it's easy to go from here to there and here to there. Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. So I know it sounds like you got connection all over. But you from El Paso. And I heard, I got a homie from El Paso. What I heard is that y'all think y'all got the best Tex-Mex. Stay with your chest, Lauren. Who got the best?
We don't have the best Tex-Mex. We have the best Mexican food. Tex-Mex and Mexican food. And so I lived in San Antonio like 10 years. Yeah. San Antonio, Tex-Mex. Absolutely. It is truly a fusion of Texas and Mexican culture together. El Paso is on the border. So like it's Mexico, essentially, right? Like my grandma's house, I could see the border like down the street. Like it truly is so interconnected. So our food is more authentically Mexican. And I will say it with my chest that it's way better than what y'all doing up here.
Oh,
yes.
Oh. All right. You went a little too hard.
I know I felt it too. I did feel it.
You did say that with your chest, and you lost a couple of your friends. I was in San Antonio for 10 years. Y'all, she was 7 when she got 10 years ago when she got to San Antonio. Like, no, what 7-year-old no is in comparison. But we'll move on. I'm just not going to get there. So, Lauren, how I found you, you are a DJ.
Yeah.
So at your age, how do you get parties to rock with you and your little Barney songs and your ABC stuff? How do you do that? Like what?
I'm a firm believer that DJs should be putting people on to new music.
She went with it.
Yeah. So I'm not the top 40 DJ, I will say.
Oh.
I don't like to be. I'm not gonna sit here and say I've not done it and that I can't do it and that I won't do it. Because your girl will go get the bag. But my preference and why I got into it really was to create spaces. Really, spaces that I wasn't seeing in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I just realized, like, man, I'm tired of this, and particularly spaces for women. So I'm like, what better way to create a space than for a woman to do it?
Yeah.
Because, like, let's be honest, like, women really drive the culture. Men want to be where the women are, and the baddies want to be where the music is.
This is true too. All of that is true. Okay, so when we get to your affinity, I want to start there. Growing up over there, I'm going to say Música Latina. Is that where you start?
I played saxophone starting in 5th grade for like 20 years, all through college, all through after college too. I played in the jazz band and did all the things. So I have always had an affinity for music. My mom really loved disco music. She loved R&B. She loved hip hop. I mean, I'm mixed, so clearly,
Yeah, you got a little.
So I had an eclectic, range of music, but absolutely, like, I grew up very Mexican as well. So I did have a lot of, musical influences from that side as well.
Yeah. If you had an opportunity, would you use that saxophone and go to a HBCU band?
Ooh.
Join a jazz band? Ooh. Or I don't even know if there are orchestras, but bear with me, an orchestra. Like, I'm trying to see, where would you like to go? Where's your preference there? I did not know that sax was going to be brought up.
Yeah, I think for me, right off the bat, I want to say jazz. I loved marching band. I was the drum major on the field that was like, I was in band for real. Okay.
And you turned out cool somehow. Oh, sorry, I should have said that out loud. That was wrong.
Yeah, I was well-rounded, I think. I played basketball too. I did a little both. But anyway, all this to say, I think right now where I'm at, I've actually been thinking about this quite a bit. I do want to kind of step back into the saxophone. I want to get into production. I have thought about, like, it'd be nice to be able to go to just like a jazz, like, jam session and, like,
yeah,
riff. So I do intend to kind of circle back into that space. I have my eyes on the bass. I'm a super big fan of the bass.
So I was going to ask you, so there's so the biggest saxophone is the tenor sax? Is that what that one is? The
baritone. The baritone. Sax.
Okay. And then before we get to the alto, is there one in between those two?
Yeah, the tenor is what you're talking about.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, you can judge me here. Which one did Lisa Simpson play?
The Barry sax. Yeah, the big one. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I thought it was alto. All right. So what's your preference? Because you just said saxophone. So can you play all those three? Or?
I played alto sax when I was like coming up. And then in college, I played Barry sax in the jazz band. So I did get on my Lisa Simpson. And that case was big. I mean, obviously, I looked ridiculous on campus just carrying that big old thing, which the trend has continued because my equipment is like that now.
All right. If you had an opportunity, it's senior year, you're walking into the cafeteria, what table are you sitting at?
That's a good question. Where was I? Again, I kind of had friends all over. Okay. I think I was more not sitting and walking around, tapping in. Just like, what y'all doing over here?
Ain't that bad? Like, I'm just getting in a conversation with you, Lauren, and now you gotta hop to another table. Like, hey girl, I was I wasn't even done.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, they say.
She's true. Well, I guess I'll see her on the field Friday night. Only time she's in one spot. So how did you get to this DJ? That sounds like to go from being a performer to a DJ, it sounds like they're polar opposites in my mind.
Well, no, I just did that in college, but like my degree I was pre-med. My degree was yeah.
Wait a minute, you're cool and smart. Hold on now. I feel like you're looking down on the rest of us. You gotta pick one.
Nah. I'm flattered and I received that, but no, it's your girl has some issues. Don't you worry.
Hey, you just gotta be a pre-med major. Like no one ever asks a pre-med major. Real talk. No one asks a pre-med major what GPA you graduate with. Like no one cares. It's like I do pre-med and then you go to medical school and we just no one goes to their doctor and like, yo, let me see what that pre-med looks like. Let me see what you got. We should.
No, you're right. You're right. But yeah, so my story, like how I got to DJing is crazy. I was pre-med. I went to medical school. Okay. I did 3 of 4 years of medical school.
Hey, can I ask you, what was your MCAT score?
No, you can't ask me that.
Okay. Well, the medical school
because I didn't finish, obviously.
But they took you.
They took me barely. They were like, come on, girl, just come on. You got other things that we
don't believe her, listeners. I've worked in university admissions for years. Not in medical school, but I've helped people go to medical school. She's sandbagging, y'all. She's sandbagging. But it's cool. We're all really impressed.
No, but it was intense, honestly. Like that, the medical field is, man, they say med school is like drinking water from a fire hydrant, and it truly did feel like that. Particularly for someone like me who, I came from single parent household, right? Like there are no physicians in my family. Like your girl really just trying to get it out the mud, and it was hard.
Yeah. Was that a familial goal, or like your whole life? That's what you wanted to do?
Looking back, I think I felt pressured to do it, right? This is kind of in line with my journey of getting to DJing. But when I look back now, after the trauma of it not working out, because it was a traumatic split, I did not choose to not finish. Yeah. So after that, I really had to kind of examine. And what I found after years of therapy is like, I was not doing that for me. In my mind, I was wanting to save my family, right? To help us like achieve a different level of success that we just weren't able to get because of our circumstances. Yes. So when it didn't happen, it felt like the weight of all of that was on me, and it was devastating. Like that was intense.
It's funny you say that. Lauren, if I could tell you something, I've worked at 5 different institutions of higher learning. And at this point, I have helped thousands of high school students and thousands of college students. And most of the ones who were heading towards pre-med and getting into medical school, they were you. And this probably won't end up on a kid's reel to help kids get into school. So we could be honest, they're all like that. They did it for their mama or their dad, and that's hard.
I think rough. You find it out too late. Yeah, and you grow up with such a sense of like, when you grow up in a household that has some chaos to it or some trauma, right? Like which so many of us have.
Yeah.
And do, because life be life, and you don't choose your parents, so you just kind of show up one day. But like, I think there's just this concept of like, you can make it, and education tends to be the way that the pathway, because it's the one thing that really can shift, or used to be, because I would argue things are really changing. But you used to feel like if I go to school, I can change my circumstances.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so many of us are trying to just make it, right? Yeah. Just like air quotes, make it. But yeah, I had to look back and, again, I'm several years removed now, but for a long time, that really weighed on me. If I felt like a failure, I felt like I failed at my purpose, which is a whole other thing,
Yeah. All right. We're going to go backwards and then we're going to spring forward. But there's a couple things as we solidify this base of Lauren that I want to go back to. All right. So you had an opportunity growing up in El Paso. You talked about the food. What is your best Mexican dish that you can make?
Easy peasy. Enchiladas.
Oh, wait.
Yep.
Hey. Oh.
My grandma and I make green ones and I make red ones.
Oh. Geez.
And they are both delicious. But it's because it's the one thing that I make, I will say. Okay, y'all know.
We appreciate that inside curtain, but we good. You had us at Rojo Y Verde. we didn't care.
Yeah, you know, my grandma, it's so cute. I asked her when I was in college to like write down all her recipes. Shout out my grandma. She's 95 right now and just like with it.
That's good genes.
She's wonderful. Yeah, she's wonderful.
Good genes.
But so I make, you know, the chile from scratch, like the whole thing. It's a whole process, but that is my favorite, and it reminds me of home because I can make it the way that she made it, you know.
So you ruined it, because I was going to ask you, do you make everything from scratch or do you cheat nowadays? And then what do you cheat on?
For sure, because, you know, it's 2020 almost 4, and, you know, people really appreciate convenience. So one thing I do cheat on is like with the chicken, sometimes I'll buy the like rotisserie chicken from the grocery store, and I just will like, you know, it works, you know.
Yeah.
Versus my like, you know, making everything.
All right. So then we're going to come to college. What college did you go to?
Yeah, I went to St. Mary's University in San Antonio.
Oh, yeah, know it very well. Yeah. I don't know the mascot there. What's the mascot?
Rattlers. It's like a snake, a rattler.
A rattler?
I know.
All right.
I know.
There it is. I was going to ask you, what do you guys do to intimidate
That's
people?
Intimidate is pushing it. I don't think we was
little
fairies. Yeah. You know, in El Paso, they have a baseball team and it's the Chihuahuas. So like, I just have this line of.
Yeah. I feel like we're laughing with the Chihuahuas. We laughing at the Rattlers though. You're right.
You're right. You're right.
You know what? You guys have a varied degree program. If I remember, you guys offer a lot of stuff. Y'all offer some stuff online to be a relatively small school. You guys do all right. What made you choose San Antonio then to leave El Paso and come all the way over?
Honestly, that was just a whole other experience. The college application process. I mean, let's be honest. They're kids, right? When your brain is not fully developed, okay? You're just going with what you maybe feel.
Yes.
So anyway, I had applied to a lot of schools. I graduated pretty high up in my class, and so I applied to quite a few places. I got accepted at Hopkins, which I was really excited about. But my financial...
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I really wanted to go, but that would have been far, right?
Yeah.
But my financial aid package just was not sufficient for me to go. And I already knew that I wanted to go to medical school at this point, and I didn't want to take the $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
Of course, it was going to be less than that with some aid, but it wasn't going to be enough. So very last minute, I'm talking about it's almost time to move. My counselor was like, look, I have a lot of connections in San Antonio. We have a pipeline of, you know, kiddos that come there. This might be a good opportunity. So yeah, but that's kind of how it went, honestly.
You graduated high in your class. How close were you to number one?
I was number one in my class until the day before graduation.
Wait, what? Let me guess. You skipped out on a test and got a 0?
No, our final exams came in, and the guy who was salutatorian passed me by 0.001 the day before. Yeah, the principal called me and he's like, I'm not gonna lie, we ran the numbers like 3 times, but yeah. So our speeches switched like, you know, last minute.
You know what? I know this doesn't help you, but I feel like at that point, man, y'all gotta share God's victory.
Right?
There ain't no losers in that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, just because we're there, and you know, hopefully you're proud of all of this. What was that GPA? What were you working with?
Honestly, I'm not even gonna hold you. That year they it wasn't very high, like over 100, but like 101 maybe.
That's all right.
Yeah,
that's all right. You talking to a brother that wouldn't have, I don't even know what that third digit looks like.
I really did just sit here and say it wasn't very high and then say 101, which is crazy. So let me take a step back, because that was not okay.
You had high standards. That's why you achieved that.
Yeah.
I just told you that, 90 is an amazing day for me in anything, on any test at any time. So, I was a business major, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. I wish I would have gone down that road now,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even then, I should have gone a different way. I am good at math, but I should have really stuck to like the public speaking presentation. But yeah, I mean, learned
again, you're a kid, right?
Yes.
Like how could you know? They now think that our brains don't fully develop till our 30s. And I believe that, because I've been dating out here.
Yeah, I was about to say, guys, us. My wife is younger than me, and she's the mature one in this relationship.
I believe that. And thank you for owning that, like, I think that's important.
Oh, I think it's important. I think that's the only reason I'm still alive. Stuff I be doing. Lauren, if I told you that I've gone 177 miles per hour confirmed on a motorcycle,
oh my gosh,
how would that hit you? Like, you think of me as an idiot, right?
Well, no, not necessarily. I like motorcycles, honestly. I was just thinking about it. So maybe this is not a good analogy, but it's concerning a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a desolate stretch, but I still did it.
177 is fast.
No, I had more to go. I peeled off after that because you
get scared. It gets scary. I'm sure you're like, hold on.
I hit a bump because I didn't know the road that well. I hit a bump and I was in the air for probably 20 feet, and it's only probably like a 3-inch bump, but at that speed, you're literally flying. And there was a car, like we knew it was desolate, and then a car came out of nowhere. They were in the right-hand lane, but I didn't see them. And then I came up, and then zoom, it was like they were just sitting still, and they were gone. And then that's the part that is scary, because what if? It's just, wow. If you can come up on them that quick, that means you're coming up on them that quick. And what if they're changing?
It's not a lot of time for a decision.
And let me just say, me and the homies on 2, we do that kind of stuff before the age of 30 quite often. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you've made it here.
Yes, you and me both. You and me both. Oh. So all right, so Lauren, I wanna come back to one last thing. Freaking Paso. To the listeners, because Lauren, they ain't going. So let's just do a virtual visit for them. Why are they going to El Paso? Why would a person go to El Paso?
I will tell you this. I think El Paso is great in that you really do get an opportunity to get up close to Mexican culture in a way that is unique from other Texas cities, right? I think one thing that's very cool about Texas to me is that every city has a vibe, and El Paso is included. It's very brown. And I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about the desert. I'm talking about the mountains. I'm talking about the decor. Okay. So do not go over there expecting green. That I will say. Right. But my favorite thing about the terrain out there is the desert skies can be so beautiful at night and in the daytime. The sunsets are beautiful. When it rains, it smells amazing. Like the stars look beautiful at night. It just is so expansive. I think the desert can be really beautiful if people give it a chance.
You seem like a confident person with good self-esteem, but I'm gonna chip away a little bit of that because I gotta know something. Something. I've been over there during the holiday time. I don't know if I was there on Christmas, but I know it was December, so it was like at least Navidad. How y'all let Juarez put Christmas trees over on the mountain, and how come y'all don't ever do nothing, man? You gotta keep up with your neighbor. What's up?
Yeah, I don't know what that's about, but like Mexican culture is cool. We like to party, so it's not surprising to me that in Mexico they're doing it more lit. Literally and figuratively.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Juarez looks like the city of lights. Whenever you guys see something on TV, you see like, oh, this city is lit up by lights. You could see it from space. You will stand over there in El Paso and you'll look over at Juarez and you'll be like, I can see this from space. Like it's so lit up. I think it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. I can't think
anywhere else in America where you're like looking at it. I've been to some places in Colorado. I know Colorado people, relax. I'm getting to you. You could be up on a mountain looking down at a city in Colorado and get that experience. And yes, Los Angeles, I got it. You could be up in the mountains and you can look down on LA. I got all that. But bear with me now, because ain't none of y'all been to El Paso. It's this because that city, the lights are on the hill. Like there's elevation to it. It's its own thing, I think. Right?
What I think is cool about it, and what I think you're suggesting is like you truly get to see the demarcation of the countries.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're literally at a point where there are 3 states, right? You have Texas, you have New Mexico, you have Chihuahua on the Juarez side. You have or cities rather. You have the states there, you have the 2 countries. So at night when you see it, because of the line and the demarcation, you see very clearly the shift. You can see it in the daytime as well, but at night it's very apparent. Yeah, and I think it's beautiful. You're right. There's a place you can drive up to the mountains. It's called Scenic Drive, and you can look at it at night, and it's really nice, peaceful, quiet.
I guarantee you, send this back home. When we're done with this, send this pod back home because they're going to be like, yo, someone outside of El Paso was like interested in talking about us, and y'all talking about it. Don't nobody ever talk about us.
I got some we're getting there.
I may have to send this to them too because they were like, yo, appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right. I want to know one last thing. How many times growing up while you were there would you say you went over to Juarez?
Man, quite a bit. My grandparents, again, I mean, my grandfather for sure is from Mexico, and they had land over there. So we would go almost every weekend. I spent a lot of time with my grandparents because my mom was going back to school to get her master's. So she's in education and has been an educator, her whole life. But anyway, so I spent a good amount of time over there.
Oh, well then you're doing it right. I will say some of it is the news and sensationalism, and some of it is rightly so. A lot of Americans don't get the opportunity. They won't go. They'll be in El Paso and they won't go. And it's because, border towns, like there's things that are said and people feel a certain way. But if I wanted people to know it's worth it. If they could.
I will say, it has certainly shifted.
Yeah.
Like I want to name that too, because, our cities are very interconnected, and there is a lot of trauma, and there is a lot of hurt, and there is a lot of pain there. There is a lot of violence, particularly against women, right? All of these things are true. When I was growing up, it was not like it. I shouldn't say it wasn't like that. It was just much more fluid and safe to get across, right? But now things have shifted. There is a difference. Thankfully, we don't get too much of that crosses over into the United States because, it's the U.S. at the end of the day, and people aren't.
It was the mid '90s when I was there. I'm showing my age now because unlike you, I actually can order a drink legally with a real ID that's not counterfeit. If you got in Juarez. Oh man. But yeah, it was the '90s. But I've seen the differences. I've been there in the mid '90s to now, and even after 9/11, like just the immediate changes. So I'm a long time. I'm telling you, girl, I'm long time.
Yeah, this is very dope. I'm glad that we got to talk about it because you're right. It's not. I don't really get an opportunity to talk about it this much in depth. People are mostly just like, oh, that's far.
People don't believe me when I tell them that there's a German school in El Paso where like Germans live, and like German school. Like anyway, it's a German school, and no one believes me. I either normally have to get someone. Now, there's smartphones and we could Google it like right away.
Take a Google.
But that was always something I could always like flex on people like, man, I know so much about El Paso. It's a German school out that joint. Okay.
That is true.
We're gonna come forward now. So the DJ life. I'm booking you, and I know what I want to hear. Do I get full reign and say, yo, these are the songs I want, make it happen, girl? Or is it kind of a give and take? You can kind of negotiate. Do people give you leeway? Because I feel like it's the former, not the latter.
I think it depends a lot. And every DJ is different, truly. Like one thing I think is really cool about DJing is it's very individualized, right? Like, yes, we do a similar thing, but we all do it differently. And there's like a lot of stylistic choices in that. But for me, I care deeply about people having a good experience, right? Again, I went into this because I wanted to create spaces. And I think it's so beautiful when people dance because they're so free. Like when people are really getting it, like they're not thinking about anything else. They're really just like out there expressing and letting their bodies do what it does, whether they're on the beat or a different beat, like they just is getting it. So
when I get down, I bring extra shirts because I know I'm a sweat out a shirt.
Exactly.
To a spot. If you know a spot, this next bar mitzvah is gonna be slow. Get your boy. I'll come up with yarmulke, and I'm going through some shirts. And when people see that, they gonna know that clearly they missing something. I'm the plant, girl.
Exactly. So my approach to it, particularly if somebody's hiring me for a private event, right? I will ask them for an inspo playlist. And I am very clear about how many songs, like send me 15 songs. And I say, like, this is an inspiration, right? Because I do like to curate music for you as a DJ, right? I want to create a vibe. But I also leave room for, if there are must plays, please explicitly state that for me. And I will play those for you. But outside of that, I do like to, and I think it's because of how I DJ. When I DJ, like I'll prepare a crate of music, which I'm collecting over a period of time. And then when I show up, I just play in that crate. I don't ever have an order. I don't ever have I'm just going off the vibes, honestly. So, and I like the freedom to do that. When people are very rigid in what they're looking for, I'm now at a place where I'm like, maybe this isn't a good fit, but I know a gang of other baddie DJs that can do that, which is a cool place to be. Yeah.
So I'm impressed with the pre-med. I'm impressed that, as I told you, girl, you got into medical school. Yo, are DJs intelligent? Like, are they like the smartest people I know? Or like, are we missing something? Because I have a fraternity brother who's a DJ. He literally is a rocket scientist. That's his day job.
I believe that.
Is there something like, are we just exposing this to the world, you and I right now? That y'all's intelligence level?
I mean, like, you have to have a right and left brain, like, active working together, right? Because there's very much a science to this, right? It's math. You're talking about beats, you're matching beats, you're mixing, like, the bars, your count, right? So there's absolutely a science, but the art is what's fun. That's like the flavor, right? The sauce. And I think as analytical people, at least for me, it's fun to be able to play in a space like that, where there's some like foundational structure, but I could get like, saucy on top of it. I think that's probably what the appeal is,
Well, there's a bunch of people I want to send this to that we've already talked about. I got to send it to the entire El Paso chapter. We got the Facebook. In fact, they're hearing it right now. See, they just got another mention. But I got to send this to him because he's like, wait, because you're the first DJ that I've had on the podcast.
Well, thanks.
He's going to be mad.
I know. I was just he's going to be like, dang, you did me dirty.
I'm not a DJ. I'm not too bright. I should have started with him. Lauren, what did you do? How did we get you first? Let me guess.
We're gonna have to run it back.
Tyler, she's from Juarez, homie. I owe her money. And this was the only way
You're clowning me
on your podcast, and we clean.
You're clowning me and my people.
Tyler, that's what happened. That's what happened. Maybe you think he bought that?
No, not at all.
God, I sold it. Okay. What, Lauren? What was the craziest atmosphere you've been in where you were DJing? Like you showed up, you was like, the what? Like, what is going on here? I know you got one of those stories. What was the craziest one where you were like, yo, I can't wait till this is over. I'm out of here. I'm never coming back. Like, there's gotta be something like that.
I won't say that I was in a situation where I'm like, I can't. Certainly I have been, right? Like where I can't wait for this is done. But what I want to talk about is this other party and these are the homies, right? Like they invited me to play. It was an after hour situation. It was a sexhibition is what was the title of the thing, right? Now in my mind, I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions, but I did show up there and it was lit. It really was. There were just some chair dancing, some whipped cream that I just wasn't expecting during my set, but it went down. And so I kind of played into it and started throwing in, I played pony and I, was instigating a little bit. So it was a fun time. But yeah, I wasn't prepared, I think, for what. Yeah. I think I just didn't know. Yeah.
You would have wore leather. If you would have thought about it, maybe you should have showed up.
Leather. Maybe. I'm not opposed to being on theme. I will say.
Yeah. Do you think at some point you could have pulled out the song "Whip It" at that event? Or was that too hard? That's too hardcore?
Yeah, I don't know. It's possible. I think, depending on how I sell it, I think the people will be with it.
Wow, that sounded that was a time.
I really appreciate what they do and we're trying to do at that event, which I think they did successfully. Is like I feel a way about how we talk about sex in this country, honestly. Like we really do put a lot of shame behind it, and that's problematic. That is very problematic. So anyway, I appreciated it and I was with it. I'm like, yeah, let's run it.
Oh no, I've lived in Europe and there are a lot of beaches. More than we have, I'll say per capita. Here. And man, ain't nobody looking at you like
because it's just a body over here. We like in the United States, we sexualize bodies so much.
Yep.
Like we.
The only thing I was worried about is I was a young cat. I wasn't as classy. The only thing I was worried about is, did I get all the hair? Because I was shaving. I didn't wax.
Oh, yeah.
Wax came along later in the life. I was like, man, I hope I didn't miss anything. That's all I was worried about.
Yeah, people just want to live.
Yeah.
We just are extra about it. But anyway, I digress. That was
So this takes me to another thing. If I was to ask your peers to describe you, what would they say?
I have heard lately a common theme of light. Like I do think that people feel empowered and uplifted around me.
Yeah.
And I love to be like a thought partner with people. Like I really love to sit with people and hold space. Like let's sit in the things that don't feel good and like talk about them and like without shame and like let's give each other grace. So like I'm that person, I'm the like champion for self-love and having healthy boundaries. At least I am intending to be, and I think that that's like really starting to come through. I'm starting to hear it come back to me.
Lauren, if you had $500 million or could live forever, which one would you take?
I would live forever. Absolutely. Maybe not. That's a long time. Life be lifing hard.
And it just hit you.
You know why? You know why I like reflexively said live forever? I enjoy where I'm at right now in that I'm recognizing that to live and to experience, like to truly live authentically, is to be present and experience the wide range of what it means to be human. So I'm starting to not be afraid of like negative feelings or spaces or emotions, because I recognize, like, if I'm to be truly 100% authentically human, that is part of it. It's the other side of the coin. I cannot feel fully in a compartment.
Yeah.
You know, and while money I think is great, you know, I don't have a lot of it now and I feel happy, you know? So
I mean, yeah.
I'm sure there are a lot of things that I would love to do. You know, I do have like a servant heart, I feel, and I would like to empower people and put them in places where they, you know, feel like they could be successful. But yeah, I don't know. That's a hard question.
Yeah, I thought so.
What would you choose?
I would choose the money.
Yeah.
I think I'm a softie. But I don't want to. I don't want to outlive everybody.
Forever is a long time.
See your kids die,
yeah,
and then for the rest of your life, you're holding on to that. I connect with people. Like, I'm really into people. Lauren, I still send a holiday card to family members and friends in my circle, and I'm mushy. Like, that's me, and I think it would tear me up to have to see all my people die time and time again. And I think that would wear on me. And I don't think I would have a light anymore. I think that it would start to be extinguished. I'd be cranky, and I think I'd turn into something else. Honestly, I really do.
That's it. I mean, that's good self-awareness and perspective, honestly. Have you ever heard or watched or read The Giver? No, are you familiar? So there's this book called The Giver, and the concept of it, it's like a utopian society, and it's a lot more rigid in that when you're 9 years old, your hair goes from braids to pigtails and you get your bike. Like, very, you know, and everyone gets like assigned a job based on who they are.
Yeah.
But one person's assignment is to be the holder and the keeper of the memories of life. And this person lives, like, you know, outside of this kind of rigid society. But it's coming time now where it's time for this person to give these memories to a new person. So they have to select this, and it ends up being this boy who gets selected. And the way that he passes on these memories is through touch, right? He'll touch and he will like feel them, like experience them. Like, he'll be in the cold. He'll feel what it feels like to be starving. He'll feel anger. He'll like all of these crazy things. Anyway, when I thought about living forever, I think that the value really is like that, to be able to, because one thing that happens generation after generation, we're doing the same damn thing over and over. It just looks different. But what would it look like if we had somebody, this like utopian world, who could help anchor us in a way that we haven't seen before?
Yep.
We don't know what it's like to live forever. You know, this is the Aquarius in me, because I be up in the clouds just for days and in theories and things. But but you're right. Forever is a long ass time.
Oh,
ain't nobody got time for that.
And honestly, 500 million, I'm telling you, that circle.
Significant.
And when I say a holiday card, no disrespect to anybody out there and how y'all
who's not getting one.
It's my card it's the family picture. It's us. It's that kind of card. Mm-hmm. I just think that with that 500 million, I know what I could do. You can't take that with you, because I didn't take live forever, so I'm gonna die. I can't take it with me, so I'm about to burn it up. You getting blessed. Homies over in El Paso getting blessed. I did there because I get us some love. But
we should have an El Paso count, like how many times
I mention it, ding.
Yeah.
This has never happened before. This is for you. They have never been mentioned.
I'm so appreciative, and I'm glad to be here. Nah, don't do them like that.
I'm just joking. You're gonna close up the gates. They ain't gonna let me buy it. That's this. I done got away with so much. But I really think that though. I really think that I could bless some people and change some lives, and then us as a group, we would be spending that 500 million. Because I don't need
a lot of money.
I'll do it 500 million. I don't need all that.
I don't even know if that's enough to go to space. You know, they have like a space hotel.
Yeah. It ain't a
Isn't that wild? You can go to space and pay to stay in a hotel.
Yes.
Like, I would go to space, I will say.
I was going to ask you to go.
I love space. I'm a nerd. I love the moon. I got a telescope over here. I be looking at the sky all the time.
The curvature. I just want to see it. I want to see the contrast of light. I want to see that beautiful shimmering blue, and I want to see El Paso at night in water. So I just want to see. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep doing it. But I think I would have to, though. I think I like, to your point, the weightlessness. You need to. It's an experience.
I would be about it. Even though, I'd be gone 5 years probably, but.
And then you're going to come back weighing 80 pounds.
Yeah, but they say it's traumatic, like astronauts have it kind of rough out. Not even kind of, like they definitely come back with, some things they got to work through.
Yes. Yeah.
For sure.
I could see that.
Can you imagine like that's you just like away and you're like looking at like the planet? You're like, oh shit, hold on.
I've always said this. I feel like it's jail. Like
because they're like, they're confined. Yeah,
they're like a convict coming back. You can only do so many push-ups and make so many shanks.
Dang.
Everybody coming to the Donato like, yo, man, I heard you make this nice joint with a weighted handle. Yeah, I got you.
Not the weighted handle.
About that, Lauren.
Not the upgrade. Not the upgraded shake.
I was trying to signify the quality that they're searching for by coming to me. They can go to anybody. But they're coming to me.
That's
so I wanted you to enjoy the journey of my craftsmanship.
That's amazing.
So, Lauren, we don't have much longer. We've got a little less than 5 minutes left. This was great, by the way. Like, there's so much more that I wanted to get into, but that's
I know. Cool. We didn't talk about my time in education. I'll tell you that.
And, I actually want to talk about your mama because you said she's in education. But you know what, though? I think this gives me an opportunity to have you back at a later
Hey, we got to run it back.
So here's one of the things I'd like to know. For those who are listening, what would you want them to know about you? Like, is there a mantra, a philosophy? What does Lauren Light live by?
Yeah, I think the 3 things that I'm aiming to do are empower, amplify, and impact is kind of what I've centered on, right? I really want to get to a space, like for me, DJing has always been about getting to a space where I can create a platform where I can empower others, where I can say, hey, pay attention to this person because they're doing dope things, right? Yeah. So I think another thing is amplifying stories. I love that every single person's story is one of one. Like, we do not think about that enough. You will never hear that same story again. And so I would love to get to a place where I can amplify all of these incredible stories because people are amazing.
Yes.
And then the last thing is impact. Like, I really do hope that what I'm doing impacts people positively in the community and even beyond that, right? Like, I really do hope that people understand that my intention is to create space for more spaces, right? Like, it's definitely coming from a place of abundance and wanting to, allow a lot of people to eat.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. So you're going to share the 500 mil like I did?
I definitely would.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I definitely would. Yeah.
for those who just listen to the audio, because her nails are well done, and I'm thinking she may need to keep some of that cheddar for that. But aside from that,
because it is expensive, I'm not gonna hold you.
A relaxed lifestyle, but she don't need a little bit for the nails. So, Lauren, I have 2 questions left. And then, although technically the question is, how can people? We'll give your socials for everyone to follow. What are your goals left? What do you still have to achieve, or you're chasing?
I'll tell you what I'm excited about in 2024. I have a digital magazine, and I'm wanting to bring that to life a little bit more. So I'll be doing another volume of that, but also doing these in real life showcases of all the women that are featured on there, which I'm excited about. And I really want to step into radio, actually. No. I have these dreams of a hyper local morning show, honestly. So yeah, that's kind of where my head is at. I want to do a little bit more in that space. And then my own production. I write music a little bit and want to start getting to a place where I can DJ and drop my own music will be really cool. Yeah, that would be. So, Lauren, I have a lot of things I want to do, I feel. I see. No, that keeps you moving. You moving. A rolling stone gathers no moss. And keep it moving. Yeah. Like you're trying to get away from El Paso. But what I believe in 6 degrees of separation. Who is the most interesting person in your life? What will you do to help me get them on this podcast? I'm not saying the richest person or the most famous. They could be that person. Yeah. But just like you said, stories, someone interesting that you're just this is an interesting cat. They just ain't blown up yet, but they're interesting. Or I just think they're just interesting. I think I've defined it enough. Yeah, that's a very good question. I will say this. So one person that I'm really excited about who's doing really amazing things, her name is Salia. She's a photographer. She works at Anton's quite a bit. Very talented. She's also stepped into DJing. I'm talking about, she is very talented. Whoa. My goodness. She's touring right now with somebody and but yeah, she is just really doing dope things. Where her head is at and what she's trying to curate is just so fly. It's something that we're not seeing right now. And I really hope that takes off because it's needed here in Austin for sure.
You got me. So what you gonna do to help me? You put in a little word?
Yeah. I'm gonna tap y'all in for sure.
You got me. I'm interested. Yeah. She'd be the first photographer. Let me make sure Tyler doesn't do photography. Now he don't do that. Because then I would have got him twice.
Yeah, he does come on, man.
So how can everyone follow? What are the socials? How can they keep up?
Yeah, so most of all my handles are the same, really. It's at The Real Lauren Light. Okay. That's it. My website is www.thereallaurenlight.com. So yeah, it's pretty easy peasy to find me. I think that's Lauren, it, really.
I knew this was going to be amazing, and it was. And I'm so mad that I'm out of time here. I like that.
We do need to run it back.
Oh my God. This was exactly what I was hoping for.
Well, good. I'm glad. I was so happy to be here, honestly. This was really great. And I appreciate you just honestly taking the time to talk about my city was really dope because I really don't get to do that. So shout out El Paso.
Oh, they gonna love it.
Again, one final time.
You know what? You get the last one. You deserve the last mention.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Make sure follow her, and I'd like to thank everyone for listening in. I think you guys may have just became a fan, like I already am. So thanks everyone for listening in. Thanks a lot, Lauren.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll see you guys.